but can we give a warm of applause for not only the Trinidad Black, but also the Sonic Fox in the house?
I just woke up. I have no energy right now. That's funny.
All right. So, by all means, Trinidad, who are you? What you doing here? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling awesome. This is my first MAGFest, y'all. And listen, I was asleep till 1 p.m. today.
Because you stayed up until how long? Like
4 a.m. I didn't know this was 24 hours all the time. So I'll pause and talk about my experience since I got here later on, because I want Sonic to introduce themselves. I am Trinidad Black. I'm honored to be here. I'm a human, just like you all. I love God. I love this people. I love interacting. I like empowering people. And I'm a neurodivergent genius. I just realized that like maybe a couple years ago, and it changed the game. So I am the executive director of Black in Gaming. I used to work at Niantic as their global head of D&I. I worked at Unity when that ship almost failed. I've been a lot of places. You just didn't see me there because I like to be in the shadows. I like to go in, shift the atmosphere, and say deuces. Now your turn.
Hello, I am Sonic Fox. I am a professional fighting game player, and also a very huge furry enthusiast, and now lately VR chat enthusiast. I have just been using my platform to uplift as many queer communities and people of color as possible, and be authentically myself, and make sure that people generally love themselves for who they are, and to never let any voice smite them out. So.
Let's go.
Another round of applause for these individuals, please. Again, I am overjoyed and overwhelmed. I am also I'm geeking out internally. If it wasn't for these anxiety meds, I would be crying. So I'm really, really excited. So I'm gonna just get the ball rolling with a few general questions, but we're also just gonna go with the flow as we agreed. But we also want to hear from all of you all. So a good portion of this is gonna be Q&A. So pick our brains. That's what we're here for, okay? Let's get the ball rolling. So general question, right? What was your first exposure to gaming? And how did it inspire you to pursue a career in gaming? And so I'll start, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
Okay, so for me, I grew up on gaming. My first console was the Sega Genesis, and my first game was Sonic the Hedgehog.
No correlation.
No relation. So that was my first introduction, and ever since then I fell in love. And then it wasn't until I got around high school where I started to notice that the games that I loved to play did not reflect or hold identities like me, and if they did, it was always some degenerate version of blackness or some stereotype of blackness. So once I got to the University of Maryland College Park, go Terps, I got with a mentor, and then from then on kind of just said, I guess I want to be even more of a geek about gaming, but I'm going to do it about black people. And then I got into public scholarship. So I've been lucky enough to give talks not only at MAGFest, but BlurCon, Princeton University, Johns Hopkins University, and many others as well, and tap into several roles as well. I am making this stuff up because this is being recorded. Got to remind myself. I am making this stuff up as I go along, but it's been a beautiful journey even to this point now. So that is my foray into how I made this all work.
You go.
Me next? Sorry, what's the question again? I'm very ADHD. How did I get into this? So how I got into gaming was my earliest memory as a kid is a fighting game. But funny enough, my very first fighting game ever was Tekken 3. And I just loved fighting games. I just grew up playing fighting games. That's all I did. And once I got to Once I got to a certain age, I was on age 13. I was playing Mortal Kombat 9. I really loved that game. I was really good at it. And one of my friends says, "Hey, you should come out to this local offline event." And I realized it was only an hour and some change away from me. And I convinced my parents to let me go. And ever since then, I've been hooked. And by legit the third tournament, I'm not even joking. I'm like 13 at the time. By my third tournament, I won a major. So that and then. Which is funny enough because that third tournament, my mom was like, "This is your last tournament. Like, you're not doing any more, right?" So imagine being like 13 years old and then coming home with like $2,000 as a 13-year-old child, and your mom's like, "I like keep playing. What the hell?" So and ever since then, it's just been me really grinding. My mom being more lenient because she used to collect my controllers a lot as a kid, being more lenient and balancing my professional life with, competing, and ever since then I just slowly came into my own skin, slowly became who I am today, and now I'm a god at fucking fighting games. So that's really cool.
Sonic, aren't you also a 7-time World Evo Championship title holder?
Yeah, but I don't want to do too much self-glaze. So yeah.
Let us do it for you.
Yep, exactly.
So I got into gaming when I was a long time ago. I don't look my age, but fun fact is my parents never bought me a console. So I had to borrow like my friend's console, and I borrowed a console in 1998, and I was playing Super Mario Brothers, and all of a sudden the TV went out, and I was pissed. And I was like banging the TV, and then all of a sudden the whole shaking of the whole house started happening. This was the largest earthquake in California. And I'm playing video games. So that's my last remembrance of playing video games. I did all the things that parents tell us to do, which is like go to school, go to college, get married. They don't tell you about you get divorced, and then you get a job, rise up the ladder, and then they don't tell you that it sucks sometimes up there and you have to leave. So my journey is not the normal journey into gaming. I had a choice to make in 2017. And I said, okay, I'm not filling this product manager job at Dell. What do I want to do? So I looked at when was the last time I actually loved my job. And it was when I was working at EMC in D&I. Now, we all know in the current administration, there's a lot of hate. But fun fact is that was the last time I enjoyed my job. So I pursued only doing that. And while I had my job, of course, don't quit your job like I did on January 1st. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do that without something after that. But at that time, I had a job, and so I was like, I'm going to just run it. I'm going to go to every D&I interview, and I landed a job at Niantic. Enter into the gaming industry from an AR standpoint and a mobile game standpoint. I had no clue what I was getting into. And I'm going to just go a little bit further. If it wasn't for my tribe, I wouldn't be here. There's a guy named Carl Vernado who used to be the ED of Black and Gaming. He gave me a list of people to reach out to. He's like, oh, you want to know about all the folks in Black and Gaming? Here's the list. And then I had to take the list and introduce myself to all 25 people in that list. And that's my community. And honestly, right now, I'd love to, if there's some of my community in this room, and I just want to honor you. If you could stand up, Black and Gaming, please stand up. Latoya, don't be trying to be funny out there. You better stand up too. Thank you.
Latoya Peterson.
Yes. Okay, Black and Gaming. So I take that moment to honor you all, because honestly, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that community. So I'll pause there.
We shout out our community. Come on now. Sonic, you and I talked heavily about community yesterday. So I actually want to continue this thread. Like, what is community? What does it mean to both of you all? Sonic is a different crowd. So if you can share some of your thoughts about community.
What community means to me is generally people that have your back. Like I'm not talking like people like, oh, let's hang out, or I care. They say I care about you, but when it really matters, they don't show that, right? They're not there for you.
Say that louder for the people in the back.
So yeah. Like I don't want people to feel like they have to be around like two-faced people anymore. I hate, like I said, when again people say I care about you, but then when it really matters, when it comes down to it, they don't show it. So community means to me like generally understanding the person, having a lot of empathy and kindness towards that person, understanding that not everything will always be perfect, but that's okay. A lot of people I think struggle with trying to be friends with everyone, which as someone who's as kind as me, there is such a thing as being too kind to a fault. And so what I try to explain to people is that genuinely you cannot please everyone. You truly cannot. But then again, not everyone matters. So with that being said, the people that are in your life and the people that you do want to try hard for, make sure you try hard for them and you change for them. But don't you ever in your life change for anybody else that does not matter to you ever. That's to me what community is.
You know what's interesting? Literally in my journal this morning or this afternoon, because I woke up after 1, I put, you're not for everyone. Your people are your people. You'll find your people. See, I'm a recovering people pleaser. I did that for a very long time, and I was literally talking to my sister LaToya last night, and I said, I'm learning how not to just do what everybody wants me to do for them. And it was hard to take that step, and it's actually a point of privilege. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize it was a point of, and I'll go deeper for all y'all on why I think it's a privilege. Like, it's a privilege to make a choice. A lot of times we are surrounded by folks who, like I said, I followed and I love my parents, but I followed the path that they had for me. And then I had to realize that wasn't the path that was right for me. But insert 30 years later, right? Like, it's a privilege to make those choices early on because that means you're different. Like, you're going to fight the grain. And that's why I think even this panel is important, because a lot of times people don't hear experiences of how you endured to where you are. Like your mother telling you at 13, this is your last tournament, you coming home with a $2,000 check. That's not normal. That's supernatural. Yeah. And that opened the door, because now she's open, because she's loving the check. She's like, let's go.
Oh yeah. And they just kept rolling and rolling and rolling. So.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, your path may not be the same path as your parents. And this is something that a lot of folks, people of color, marginalized folks, have to deal with, because culture is a huge part of our lives. Like, and what about when you're outside of the culture? You can be, to your point, you can be ostracized. You can be told you're not black enough. You're not white enough. You're not this enough. You're not that enough. Like, that sucks. But it takes thicker skin to be like, y'all don't define me. I define myself, but that comes with learning. That comes with life. All those things.
I mean, both of y'all talk y'all shit. Y'all being recorded. Whatever. Right? But it's true facts. Like, even for me, you know, I come from the academic side of the aisle, and that's a tough environment to be in, especially if you hold particular identities such as the ones that we hold, right? And I study gaming, so you can imagine the kinds of, what? You do what now? I had one guy laugh in my face before. He was like, they allow people to study anything at this university. I was like,
his hands.
Right. Let's go.
I was ready, but like I had to walk away, right? But you know, my community is everything, right? And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for individuals such as like a Dr. Akil Fletcher, a LaToya Peterson, right? My friends I see in the back, Alvin and Sheldon, I see you, right? I wouldn't be here. And like, I had a hard time. Like, the pandemic was hard for a lot of people. For me, I was in a very dark place. I had left my PhD like literally 3 or so weeks before the pandemic. So not only can I literally not think, because that's what happened, something mentally happened with me. I literally could not think. I couldn't read the side of like the spine of the title of a book. I couldn't do that for like 3 months straight. No joke. Like, I didn't know the brain can legit do that. I couldn't read anything longer than a dinner menu. Reading more than 5 pages for 3 months actually put me to sleep for 2 hours. And that's what happened to me. And then a pandemic popped off. So now I'm socially isolated. And so what was my refuge? Discord, right? And here's the thing. I was already on Discord playing Overwatch when it was good. It's true. Yeah, I know it's true. Yeah, I know it's true.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Right. Now we're on Marvel Rivals. Right? You see what I'm saying? And that right there kept me going. My friends kept me going. Playing games kept me going. Watching Twitch, watching Sonic be Sonic kept me going. Because I'm like, yo, like, this is godlike. Like, I'm in my room like, yes. Oh, here comes Ninja Killer. Like, right. That kind of stuff keeps me going. And, you know, community means a lot for me. which now makes me think about, like, how do you keep yourself motivated? For some of us in this room dealing with imposter syndrome, I know for me, I struggled with that a lot in my undergrad and a little bit during my early days of getting my doctoral degree or pursuing it. So how do you like navigate imposter syndrome if you go through that? And if not, how are you so fucking lucky?
Well, for me, it's truly just being inspired by my friends. I like to say, because like, you know, I have such a big platform, and people really admire how much, you know, I'm out there. You know, I'm very loud about who I am, and I'm very vocal about who I am. So they like to see me as a leader, but really, I'm the ones following my friends. I'm following their lead. It's my friends and my found family that I've made mostly through VR chat that I truly followed them and find massive inspiration from them. Instead of, they may think they're following me, but no, I am following their lead, learning from them, understanding them, growing more and more empathy. And that's how I know I am where I need to be. The fact that I can still keep learning about myself through several other means I am exactly where I need to be. So.
I love that. I love that because when you think about imposter syndrome, it usually shows its little ugly head in the places that you're actually supposed to speak up. The places where your genius was paid for. Just think about this. People hire you for a job, and then this little ugly imposter syndrome wants to pop up in a meeting where you actually are the genius in the room. It's like counteractive. And so when I think about imposter syndrome, I've experienced it when I was newer in my career, because I was like, okay, these people know more than me, until I realized quickly in these meetings that they didn't. And I know that sounds like prideful, whatever, but in real,
you smart, talk your shit. No. No.
It is literally the truth, y'all. I was like, oh yeah, they hired me. Oh yeah, they want me. But then when I would speak up as a black woman in a predominantly white environment, it's like, oh, you aggressive. Oh, why you all up in my business? And then I'd be like, bro, let's just go get a beer. I'll tell you all about yourself in 2.5 seconds. And then they'd be like, who are you? What do you think you're doing? I said, you hired me, bro. You're the leader. So I think I had to learn my journey. I had to learn how to go into rooms and not be afraid of the backlash of being the smarter person, not be afraid of the backlash of being a creative in a space that was highly methodical, right? Like and I'm that too. When I say I'm all over the map, I really am. And I know my brothers are too, because I heard him speak and I'm just like, your mind is like 5 steps ahead of mine. What's going on here? But be you. And then if you're applying for a job and you throw all your stuff out there to get the job, I think it's a disservice to the environment that you're in if you're going to be quiet in these meetings and be afraid that you're not good enough. We all go through that. It's the insecurities of life that try to fight us, that we're not good enough because we're told by society, you need to do this, and have this degree, that degree. Listen, I dropped out of my doctorate degree because I was in there and I thought, I was like, I'm going to learn something. I didn't learn nothing. I was in there and I was like, I've been doing, it was a doctorate in youth ministry, and fun fact, I was a youth pastor for more than 15 years. And so I literally went there thinking I'm going to get recognized. Like they're going to give me this check and they're going to give me this paper so that I could tell all these pastors, y'all don't know how to do youth ministry. I do, right? Fun fact, I'm in the room with these people for 2.5 years because it's a 3-year program. And I'm like, bro, I haven't learned a thing. I'm like, deuces. My parents were pissed. But I said bye because I was like, I'm wasting time. I could be getting the life experience that I need in these streets. And so that's when I went on missions. I was in Italy for a year. I was in London for a year. And I was in these streets. So when I went into corporate America, they didn't realize I had some street smarts in me. You ain't just hiring a product manager. You hiring someone who actually thinks about the product, who's receiving the product, why they buy your product, why they need your product, and why you need to be up in their head space to get your product better so you can make more money. Same thing in the gaming industry. I'll pause.
I wanted to add on to what you were saying earlier. I just truly think it's like the biggest moment of enlightenment when you realize you just do not need the validation of people who do not matter to you. It's like truly, it's like I cannot say this enough. You will truly ascend in life when you realize that when there are people who are thinking less of you, no matter how good you are or what you do, or people who are always just being bitter or just unhappy people towards you. When you realize that they truly don't matter, it's just like I just get the sense of like euphoria, you know. I'm just like, wow, your opinion just does not matter to me, and that just it feels great, honestly, because I'm just like I'm sitting there seeing them be like, you know, bad faith towards me, and I'm just like, it just doesn't matter. Like why should I care about what you think about me when there are people in my life already that do generally know who I am and know what I do? Why should I care about you for looking at me thinking, oh, all you do is talk about how gay you are. All you do is talk about your personality. Like you have no personality. But I'm like, you just simply don't know anything about me. And as a result of that, I don't feel the need to have to explain myself to you like at all. Like truly, I just do not care. Like this is the best way to describe it. I just do not care. So when they're wasting their breath, I'm just sitting here like, I wonder who I'm gonna beat up in Mortal Kombat later. Because I'm legit. I'm just so interested, and that's honestly how you deal with any trolls in your life, how you deal with any negative comments in your life. You will always have those people behind you that support you and follow you. So you focus on those people, the people that are just trying to push you down, and you know, just be bad faith people towards you. And I know you know the kinds of people I'm talking about. I'm sure you've all experienced it. There are people that are there to genuinely put you down for no reason just because you're better than them. And when you realize again that those people just do not matter and that you can just laugh in their face instead of taking offense, like we can actually, not only can we be the bigger person, but we can do so with elegance. So
I have to say that yes, and I'm all for what you just said. I just think that there's a problem when that person is tied to your money, right? Like, so I think that, and I'm just acknowledging the folks who are still up and up on their career. Like, you have killed the game, period. And so you have this place and this platform where you can not give a fuck. Oh, wait. You can.
That's fine. It's fine.
Bleep that out. You can bleep it out. Like, and so I want the people who have to care about, like, if this person's tied to my money as my manager, how do I navigate that and still not care about their opinion? And so I think that there's ways to do that strategically.
I was actually going to bounce off of that. That's why I say with elegance, right? So even
there's the elegance.
Yeah. So there's the elegance part of it, right? So even with people that are in charge of your money, like, trust me, I have worked with people where our political ideologies just do not align, like, at all. Yeah. But I just sit there with a smile. I'm like, okay, you know, put on that white fan face smile. I'm like, sure, I'll do it. And then I just, you know, I keep my opinion to myself because if I say it out loud, I will be fired.
I like
so that's why I'm saying have a semblance of elegance. You can't just, you know, be unhinged all the time. I would love to be unhinged all the time, but I mean, the real world just doesn't work that way. So choosing your moments of, like, for example, when somebody's in charge of your money, the way I look at it is like, I am just going to get as much as I can out of you, and then I'm going to be out of here.
That's true.
So
that's smart. That's smart. I spoke up at an all hands, and I said some things that I shouldn't have said at an all hands, and it showed up in my review. Like, it legit showed up in my review, and I was pissed. I was like, you sneaky. That was like 6 months ago, and you never talked to me about it. You never came to me and said, Trinidad, you shouldn't have said that in the all hands. Like, be about your business. So I wrote my own, you know, review of her, and I sent it to all the people. But I also learned at one point I had to go in my brother Sonic's flow. I had to get to a place where you don't control me, and you may think you control my money, but I'm gonna keep it moving. And if I have to struggle for a little bit, I'm gonna struggle, and I'm gonna make my own path. And that's where I'm at now. Like, because, and I'm 42, y'all. So like, it's taken me a while to get here. So I'm on this stage, and I'm speaking to you, and we're speaking to you because we don't want you to go through. We want you to learn now. We want y'all to make those moves now so that you can live your best life in these streets.
Don't ever live under at them. Like, even now, like, that's actually why I'm choosing to go sponsor this right now, because due to the climate of the games, A lot of sponsors are trying to undersell me, and I know that.
Period.
So knowing my value and wealth and how much I can add to a team does matter to me. And so when they're trying to like underball me or undersell me, I'm just like, I can struggle for a little bit because I don't want to be in a contract where now you actually control everything I say and do, and there's nothing I can do about it, right? I'm like, you're gonna at least pay me a bag if you're gonna do that to me. So I'm like, if the bag is not worth it, then I will happily struggle for a little bit until it's time. So,
well, first and foremost, let's just clap it up for these like already amazing. So, Brother Akil, if you could assist with passing the mic around. Click the.
I really like how well spoken you are, Trinidad.
All right,
You're
cool.
a really good talker. So I'm like, it's like I could tell that's just your actual years of wisdom.
Okay,
that
I
learn
guess.
From.
I guess I have a mic, and for anyone who has questions, happy to start. Okay.
Hold on. First off, look, we got to give it up for Dr. Akil here. He had a panel earlier that was packed. The fact that this is Framly. I say Framly. This is Framly, like, period. Just want to put that.
Hello.
Hi.
So I have a quick question for you guys. I just became the chair of my Black ERG at my company. So, so now I'm considered a Black leader at my company. What any tips you have for me? Because I'm just like, new, trying to navigate it.
That's not me.
Sonic, just listening. I'm pretty sure you have some stuff. First of all, I want to say congratulations. Second, I want to say I need you to write an email to all the executives introducing yourself as the new Black ERG lead.
Oh,
and,
yeah, the
and that
CEO.
you would, huh?
I said CEO knows. That's why I am talking to him about it.
So I'm talking about the CEO down.
Oh.
C-suite.
Oh.
So all of them. And you already know, me, so you can email me, I'll help you out. But for everybody else who's in the room, when you get a position of leadership in your company, a lot of times because we're humble to a fault, we don't put it out there for the community to know. This is a position of leadership within the company that your goal is to help not only the Black folk in the company, but to help the bottom line. Your goal is to make their products better. Your goal is to show them where their gaps are, period, right? So write an email to all the leaders saying, I want to introduce yourself. I'm passionate about customer service. I'll give you all the key points that will be like, oh, she's not a normal one out there. She cares about the bottom line. Yes. And when you go in there, you're going to show them how dope you are so that they're going to want to mentor you. They're going to want to mention your name in rooms that you're not in. They're going to want to go to the CEO and say, that was a wise pick. Who was her leader? What are they doing? And you also want to make sure within your ERG that you have goals set up that are going to benefit the KPIs of the company and also the community. So, I mean, this is my wheelhouse, y'all. You already know. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Wop, 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 wop. Sorry, it was that. It's my head. When I'm speaking to you, I'm literally hearing a song. So,
I'm also neurodivergent too, so I get what you're doing. I call it stimming. I'm like, I just have those vocal stems. You just have to say it.
I just have to. Yeah. So I'm really excited about what's ahead of you. Holler at your girl. We got this. You're going to be doing panels on ERGs. You're going to take your first year just to soak it all up but also show the impact that you have. But then the next year you go out there and you find out ERGs that are connected to you within the industry, and y'all show that collectively you're stronger. One thing that a lot of Black ERGs do wrong is they don't collaborate with all the other ERGs to do something with a greater impact. So y'all need to focus on also partnering with the LGBTQ plus, with the women's group, with all those folks, and then they low-key are going to want to help you out. And then they got budget. If you got budget, y'all combine your budgets and you do a bigger thing.
Thank you so much. I'll definitely reach out to you.
You're welcome. Am I talking too fast?
I'm very invested. So listening to you.
Absolutely.
It's up to you.
Okay, all right.
Still working?
Yeah, it's up
Go
to
ahead.
you, Jarice.
Yeah. My name is Joris, last name Smiley. I compete in fighting games sometimes. Not as good as him, nowhere near. I have no problem confessing that.
Competition?
I feel like this is coming towards me.
I don't want that smoke at all. Your goodness. Yeah. I do have a question for Mr. Sonic Fox over there. Daigo Umehara, and I hope everybody in this room knows who Daigo is. Somebody cue the clip of Evil Moment 37. Way to go, Justin. Anyway.
Let's go, Justin!
Let's go, Justin. If you know, you know. Anyway, Daigo wrote a book that discusses his background and mindset he has to win. I actually published a short story collection that features a black guy takes his daughter to a tournament. I think there's a strong audience to hear about the black tournament experience. Would you, Sonic Fox, ever consider crafting a book from your perspective in a similar fashion? Like, you're just basically, you know, it's called A Will to Win.
Yeah,
but
I know.
would you ever write something like that, talking about your perspective and your mindset and what you do? Because, I mean, we all seen the clips. We all seen the 13-0. We've seen the Evo wins.
Yeah.
Just like you talking about that from like the moment you started playing Tekken 3 to sitting right here and everything you've accomplished with that, is that something you ever consider doing?
I guess a book has never been something I really ever considered doing. I mean, I'm sure I could write a book, but it's never really been of my fast interest yet. But I mean, Daigo's old. Like he's like his 40s, right? So maybe in like when I'm also old, maybe I'll reflect and be like, yeah, I'll write a book about this. But I'm only like 26, and I still have a lot of inspirations and aspirations that I wish to seek. I will, however, say I do want to make a fighting game because I do have a huge story, and I think the story would be really good if done well in a fighting game. So.
And I think you should think about doing your book sooner than later. I think sometimes we think that like, oh, I'll get there and then I'll speak, but there's something about the current stance and the current place that you're in that could impact others. So maybe not even a book, maybe a podcast, maybe a movie, maybe a short film.
A video game.
A video game.
Yes. I want a signed copy of this video game.
Okay.
I follow you on Twitter. Like
So, question for you all. First of all, thank you for the panel and congratulations to everyone up there. It's clear that you are incredibly successful in all of your respective fields. So, kick ass with that. Question I have is, I guess, so in regards to maybe like trolls, haters, this and that, people holding you back, if you all had any experience with it, you could talk about sort of, I guess maybe using that as motivation, but also, I guess, sort of the balance of not just being kind of fueled by, I guess, that hate or being so adjacent to it. And then, I guess, maybe kind of overcoming it with the rise from the ashes. But, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I actually have a really good answer for this. So you were saying how to, like, not return it with hate, right? I like to return it with spite. Spite is a little different than hate. I think spite is one of the greatest motivators. These people dislike me for who I am so much that it just inspires me to want to go even farther. Like the fact that like they really have nothing on me and they're just upset that I'm very loud about being gay, I'm very loud about being black, I'm very loud about talking about the things that are very real and very serious to me. So when they're sitting there and hating, I don't need to hate them back. I don't need to put them down. I can just spite them. Me existing alone has like, and knowing that it pisses people off has been like honestly great for my mental health because I have been in some really dark places, but realizing that some of these people genuinely want me to, I'm sorry if it gets dark, but some of these people genuinely want me to kill myself, and just knowing that me existing not only makes them mad, but inspires others to, you know, come out to be themselves, you know, makes people want to try and express themselves. I've gotten so many messages of people coming out to their conservative parents or, you know, just coming out to the family members or just finding love even. I have seen it all. And even just one message alone of like anybody is enough for me to continue what I'm doing. So I like to say spite is like one of the most beautiful motivators for me. And it's not hate. There's a difference between spite and hate.
And I say I'm worth talking about. So I turn it on its head. If I'm not doing something worthwhile, then you're not going to hear about me. People aren't going to talk about me. People aren't going to hate about me. Like, I'm doing something. And I also need your hair care routine because your curls are popping. So, like, I'm literally here, and throughout all my life I've been talked about because, oh, you're fluffy, you're chubby, they call me fat, they call me this, they call me that, and I'm just like, your mama. And then I also go into like, I'm just joking, not really. But then I think about I'm doing something that other people aren't doing, and because I'm doing it, something within them is rising up in insecurity, whatever it may be.
You're mad,
and they big mad. Why are you mad? I'm big mad, and I'm just like, okay, let's go. Like, if you want to talk about it, but I also think that there's a blessing in block. There's a blessing in silence. There's a blessing in all those other things. That not everybody that talks about me deserves an answer, and actually the majority of them don't get one. I just keep moving, and like I have a brand that I built, and my sweatshirt says "Say less." Like, I don't have to say a lot. I say less, and I show you with my actions. And so I think that that's huge. Like, we can move in silence. Even in moving in silence, people are gonna still hate. But I don't focus on the haters. It was funny because I have a podcast. It's interesting, and my someone put on Spotify like a 3 stars. And my co-host was like, someone put 3 stars on the podcast, and I was like, are you still alive? Are you still breathing? Like, are you okay? And this is her first time being out there, right? And I'm like, bro, it's just 3 stars. We'll just get like 50 of our people to put 5. You know what I mean? Like, it'll go away. So I just encourage you all to like not allow the haters to give you get you into a place that you start to second guess yourself.
Don't ever give into bullshit.
No.
Ever.
No.
And like I said, one of the biggest things I like to say, it's like a legendary quote from this fucking bowler. I think he's like love him or hate him, you watched. Like that's how I live. I'm like love me or hate me, you watched. So.
Don't believe me, just watch me.
Oh yeah, these are, even for me, I feel like, well, one, people have asked me this question before, like, Javon, like, you have haters? And I was like, if I did, I wouldn't even know who they are. Like, because why would I focus on them? But I think for me, it is people fundamentally not understanding what my mission is, right? Like, people fundamentally not understanding why I study games and why I study black people in games. I've had people, like professors, be like, well, okay, what about like other gamers? Well, other authors can write about those other gamers. I'm writing about black people.
Period.
Right? And so, but I have to fight constantly. I don't have to fight as hard now because I have folks like LaToya, you, Dr. Akil to rely on, right? But each of us have to have done our own fights. Like Akil, he fights Princeton, right? Like he carving his own path there, right? And I try to carve my own path, like doing public scholarship, which is nice because I get to be in front of a crowd. But you know, some people have challenged me publicly. They've all lost because I come in prepared. So whatever you think you know, I'm willing to have that conversation. It's just that the difference is I come with facts. If you come with opinions, we're not on the same thread, right? So if you think your opinions will outroot my facts, then I'm sorry, like I don't know what to do with that, right? So yes, this is nice. I like this. Next question, please.
We got some hands up.
I like that. Haters are your motivators.
Right.
You've talked a lot about your professional careers, and I was curious how you deal with your identity in hobby spaces or casual spaces where you have the option to only be around other black gamers or other black furries. But I mean, you're at MAGFest, so obviously you've chosen to go to those more general spaces, and how do you deal with people being like surprised by your presence there or not wanting to be around you, like expecting you to go to black gamer spaces? We're like, why can't I just game here?
Like I said, I think like sorry, I'll wait for that attention. Okay, so I think some of it is just being confident in your own skin, right? It doesn't if you're really confident in your own skin, like it doesn't really matter where you go. Nothing anybody can ever say to you will ever affect you. You're very happy with who you are, and not a single person can put you down for that. People will certainly try. It doesn't matter where you go. You can go into public space, go in private space. It doesn't matter where you go. People will try to put you down. And like I said, you just have to approach it with elegance. You just have to be the better person with elegance. Like you can just generally not care about what they have to say. And it's so long as you have that, there's no amount of discrimination, no amount of slurs they can call you that will ever put you down. You'll never be hurt by it because you know who you are and they have nothing on you. So
I will say to your question, first off, thank you for saying that question. I had to take a moment to just like go in. There are times when I want to do that. I want to retreat just to a space with just my people because I feel like in those spaces I'm safe. I can go and do whatever I want to do, say without being judged, feel how I feel. And truly, there's a blessing in those spaces. But I also desire to come into spaces like this because I believe that we're better together. I believe that in communities, we help each other out when everybody's heart is in the right place, right? Like I'm honored to be here because I'm seeing people who don't look like me who care, right? I wouldn't know that if I was just stuck in my bubble. And so even with Black in Gaming, we go to DreamCon, we go to MAGFest, we go to Afrotech. I know, we go to all these places and we go because we're like, we want to find our people. And our people doesn't just look Black. Fun fact, Black is not a monolith, number one. Number two, our people are just not Black. We're in communities. I have tons of allies that I wouldn't like, literally. One of my bosses is a dope white man. And to this day, like he's still advocating for me. He's put me on podcasts with him and he's like this HR guru. Like, so I'm getting seen by people because of him, because of his allyship. And so I thank God for folks who actually are comfortable with having those tough, weird questions. We've had conversations where he's like, Trin, like, I don't know if I can ask this question. I was like, here, you're safe. Now, I'm going to tell you if you should never ask that question again in public, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I am okay with that conversation. I don't know.
No, exactly.
Don't put that on a podcast.
Yeah.
So, but I thank my community. I thank us being able to come into spaces like this and have disagreements, but in a safe place to hash them out, right? Because I think all of our hearts are in the right place. So yeah,
I actually want to add on to that too. Like I said, I hope people don't take offense to this, but as a Black person, I truly expect like a non-Black person or like a white person to be ignorant at some point to me in my life, whether I'm really close to them or not. I expect you at one point or another to be ignorant towards me. And to me, I'm okay with that because if, like I said, if your heart is in the right place, and you have like you're showing real kindness and real empathy to want to learn, I'm happy to tell you this stuff. I'll be like, hey, maybe don't do that again in front of other people because other Black people are tired and they will beat your ass sometimes. But I'm not, I'm strong enough to have this conversation in this moment with you, and I'm willing to work with you if there is goodwill and good intent to want to change. And I have some of my closest friends on this planet. Like they definitely said some things where I'm like, well, that was racist, but I don't think you realized that was racist. So let me explain to you why that was racist. And they understood. They understood, and they were very, mindful of the future conversations, and they learned and they grow. And now we have, we're like this, and that is the kind of that I always at least try to give some people that benefit of the doubt. Like even if they say something crazy to me, I'm like, I always examine them to see if there was ill intent in it, because I do think intent does matter, even though it came off as ignorant or anything like that. I do think intent does matter. So trying to at least give them the benefit of the doubt and have a conversation like, hey, like that wasn't cool, but let me explain to you like why this isn't cool. Now if they start snapping back at you, it's just an easy like, oh, go fuck yourself. But like it's just. But if there's people who are truly willing to learn, like I do think teaching people and then educating them to want to be a part of your community, I think goes a very, very long way. But it does take a lot of patience and a lot of resilience. And I know, like I said, as a Black person, where sometimes somebody just catches you on the wrong day. Like you just, like it's hard. But I'm telling you, that resilience and that patience, sometimes someone will say something ignorant to you and you want to just blow up at them because you've been dealing with that shit for years, but sometimes even that person that said it may not have deserved that. So empathy goes a long way.
And you don't have to interact.
Yeah.
You have a choice.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure, like, you don't have to even interact. That's the recovering people person in me. Yeah. I'm finally okay with making others mad. I wasn't okay with making others mad for a very long time.
And I'll keep it brief, but for me, I mean, this is part of my profession. I actively talk about structural racism, right? I actively say, like, if it's white hegemonic, cisgendered masculinity causing the problem, then that's causing the problem. Now, if you feel some kind of way about that, we can talk, right? And so I had to learn what it means for me to be in my role as an educator, basically, imbuing information about how society has shaped itself to be, but society doesn't ought to need to be that anymore, right? And that's a hard conversation for folks, even for myself, when I have to wrestle with things about, anti-blackness, right? Even anti-blackness from other black people, right?
Nobody talks about that.
We have words for that, but I don't think we'll let this.
So,
I have words.
right? So, but I find strength in my community, and I find strength in the people who got me to where I am. I'm talking about your W.E.B. Du Boises of the world, your Malcolm X's of the world, Austin Channing Browns of the world, right? Those folks had to go through things that I could not imagine, right? And if they can get through what they got through, and I still know their names, then all right, fuck it. That means I gotta keep going. I gotta keep motion, because they literally lived in a world, right? W. was lived in a world where just literally being him and a black academic, he can still be lynched in the next state, all depending where he was, right? So, next question.
Give me the pen. Give me the pen.
Oh, I'm attacked. My bad. When I'm gonna roll, I'm gonna roll some.
I think we have one.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Hello. Please forgive me, but I have to ask. What is your code switch accent? And if you're using it right now, can you turn it off?
Code switch accent.
I just need to know.
I feel like they're trying to say that they want you to be more unhinged. I don't want to say. It feels like you're being professional right now. They don't want you to be professional.
I'm sorry to inform everybody that I'm from California by way of New York, and this is my accent all the time. Unless I'm trying to speak in some kind of, I play around a lot, so I'll be like, darling, or I'll be like, or I'll go London and with
Can you do that again, please?
darling.
Darling.
I also loved acting like I'm from London. When I lived there, I switched to a London accent all the time. But I also have a quarter for a water for my daughter's dog. And I live in Boston, so I park the car in the yard. So I think that there's a lot of voices that come out of me. And this is, when I'm in it and I'm in the flow, I sound like an educated white person. It's okay. That's just who I am. And I actually had people tell me you're not black enough, right? Like, and I'm just like, okay, that's your opinion to what my brother Sonic said. Like, this is who I am. And it's okay to be who I am. I have friends who have doctorates. I have friends who are in the hood. I was a norteña from East Salinas for a long time in my life. So there's a lot of things that like I've been through that have made me who I am today. And this is my authentic self.
I will say that. Oh yeah, definitely clap it up. Oh, yeah, let's go. Pause around. I was like, yeah, I will say that this is normally how I talk, but my accent definitely does change depending on the crowd of people I am around. So if I'm around a lot of more queer and gay people, you'll see me saying, "What's the taste?" Right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
The tea.
Yeah. Or if I'm around more black people, I do. I will say words I don't think I'm allowed to say right now publicly. So, but yeah, I do think things change depending on the crowd of people I am.
And yeah, for me, being in the spaces that I hold in the academy, I'm very mindful of who's in the space, right? However,
Demure.
Yes, I'm very mindful of who's in the space, but my work speaks for itself. So sometimes, if the work allows me, or the work definitely highlights structural racism, and there's a whole bunch of white people in the room, then that's really their problem, not my problem, right? And also, yeah, this is how I talk naturally. And I also keep in mind how I want to phrase things, because phrasing things is definitely important. But also, if people want to like scrap words with me, I have no problem with that too. It's just that that's a different type of Javon that comes out. And you may not like that Javon. I like that Javon, but you may feel some kind of a way about it. But, and yeah, we shake and bake, we move and groove from there. Yeah. Next.
I was going to say, I'll add on to what you're saying there too. Yeah, I think I'm one of the most kindest people you can ever meet, right? Like I'm very empathetic. I'm very kind. I'm very understanding. Even when people wrong me, I still try my best to see the good in people. But that being said, kindness is still granted. Kindness is still a privilege, okay? And if you cross me in the wrong way, I will revoke that from you, and then you will see a side of me you've never seen before. And that's it.
Same.
All right. Can you hear me? Okay. So, gorgeous panelists, quick question for all three of you. So you all have experience with being either the first and or the only in a space. Mm-hmm. And as all three of you know, that when you break a barrier, a lot of times there's recoil. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about the tactics that you use, one, to keep pioneering new spaces, particularly where other folks like us have not gone, and two, how do you sit and help the path for folks who are coming up behind you?
Ooh. Okay, can I address this really quickly? Because I had this experience before, I think 2 years ago. I wrote an article for Games Industry Biz. It's still up there. You can read about it. And I wrote about Forspoken. And I wrote about Forspoken. And if you read the title will make you think you know what I'm about to say in my article. And so when it came out, for the most part, people were happy. I was happy. Like, oh my gosh, I'm on Games Industry Biz. Oh, okay, turn up. I went to Starbucks. That's celebrated, right? But then I wanted to see the public reaction, so I went to Twitter and I saw a comment that, in a lot of ways, really just it threw me off. Like, it really threw me off because the comment was, A, you didn't read my article, clearly. Two, if you did read it, I don't know where you fundamentally misunderstood the approach to what I was actually saying about the characterization of the game and also about black women in games in particularly. But I was so thrown off because I was like, are they attacking me? No, they're attacking the work. But the work, I wrote the work, right? I work hard for this, right? I got this approved by the editor, my friend, all that stuff, right? And so I had to call a mentor after mentor after mentor. I'm like, yo, how do you do with this? Like, how's that work? And one of my mentors, Dr. Rayshawn Ray, he said, he's like, there are certain people that he wants his work to be seen by, right? So if his colleagues, his associates are like, this is amazing stuff. But also, he knows the people that's going to be mad and upset. So he said, if you piss off the right people, then you're doing something. Mm-hmm. And in that moment, I never thought about that. And I was just like, yo, I think I just pissed off the right person. Mm-hmm. And so I celebrated again. I was like, I called my mom. I'm pissing off people online.
Yeah. I'll say, like I said, I don't want this to sound. I'm sorry. I don't want this to sound narcissistic, but again, it comes back to just being really confident in who I am. But I do want to add on to that now. I know my heart is in the right place, but it's not because I think so. It's because the people that I love and care about the most hold me accountable for when I'm wrong, and they allow me to grow. And so as a result of that, knowing that these people that I truly would like die for, I'm not even joking, I would die for some of these people, like them holding me accountable and telling me when I'm wrong and stabbing me in the front, like that's what I need, and that's what's helped me grow as like a human, to understand people more and grow such this big empathy fan. Like I'm not sure if anybody's here watched Steven Universe, but that has had such a massive impact. I have a Steven Universe tattoo on my chest. Like I live by the messages that are said in that show. So it's knowing in my heart that I truly believe I'm a good person and a kind person, that when these people try to hate at me or put me down, I'm just like, but I know I'm a good person. Like I don't. So I don't, again, it's going back to, I don't really need their validation. Like I'm very happy with who I am, and when these people are pissed off at me for whatever reason. I'm just like, I don't care.
So I know we're coming to a close. I just want to put y'all to some game. When you have an idea, the idea is just not in your sphere. The idea is in the universe. So if you don't pick up the idea, someone will. So we all have a choice on whether we want to be the first or not. I'm pretty sure every single person in this room has had an idea, and then like 3 months later, they're like, I had that idea. Where did that come from? That means at the time it was for you and for you to do, but you let it pass like it was simply another thought. I chose to take the idea and run with it. Now, that comes with its challenges. It comes with its ups and downs. It comes with loneliness. It comes with moments where people who I thought had my back stab me in the back, not in the front. I like what my brother said. He said, stab me in the front. Like, I need people who go and stab me in the front. Period. And so keeping it moving forward, keeping it walking in this moment, because I know that that idea was for me. And so I want to encourage everybody that if you have an idea and it means that you're going to be the first, think about it. None of these games would have been created if someone didn't take the first step with an idea. Now we're playing them. Now we're rocking the merch. Now we're telling our friends about it. But it's not a road, it's a road less traveled. Being an innovator is a road less traveled. Being a creative and actually manifesting something is a road less traveled. So you need that resilience. You need the ability to silence the noise. So I encourage you, if you have an idea, if you have something that you're working on right now and you're struggling, find your tribe, find the people who are for you, silence the noise of the haters. Listen, and I know y'all already know me. The people who know me know I'm gonna mention something about the Bible. Job in the Bible, his wife told him to curse God. His friends told him to curse God, and he just sat there and he was just like, "I'm good," and he never did it, and he ended up getting double for all that. But at the same time, I think that when my friends tell me that I'm trash, like, and it's not in a stab you in the front kind of way, I have to ask myself, is it coming from hate? Is it coming from jealousy? Is it coming from those? And I'm gonna silence the noise. So I just want to encourage you that if you're looking to do something worthwhile, it's gonna cost you. Yeah. It costs. I've lost friends. I've lost mentors. I've lost family, bro. I've lost a lot. I had to do Uber at one time in my life because I lost all my money. Like, anything worthwhile costs. So don't count the costs. See if it's worth it for you. And if it is, be that first person. Be the innovator. Be the creator. Because we're waiting for you.
So we are about to wrap up. And so I will close out by saying, first and foremost, thank you all for being here. You all make this worth it for us, right? It makes it worth it for myself. It makes it worth it for Trinidad and for Sonic, right? I remember, being at home watching Sonic, like, just absolutely do things. I'm like, you can do that in this game, right? Like, absolutely. And then hearing about Trinidad, I'm like, you can be that kind of person? Like, all that kind of stuff is inspiring to me, and folks like you all inspire me as well. So again, thank you all for being here, and one more round of applause for the Trinidad Black and the Sonic Fox.
And Javon Gord. Thank y'all.
All right.